Dive into the world of TV shows one episode at a time. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Laura, and each week we watch and dissect everything from drama to comedy, sci fi to reality TV.
Whether we're loving a show
Hating it,
or just somewhere in between.
we bring our honest, no holds barred opinions.
And of course, some laughs along the way.
So grab your popcorn
Get cozy.
and join us as we break down our favorite binge worthy shows.
One review at a time. Let's get started. What up, what up, what up, Laura?
Hello, husband.
Long time no see from the other side of the
was.
room.
You know, as we were reading our intro, I was like, we've only covered one of those aspects. So maybe next batch of episodes, we maybe do a drama, comedy, or reality TV. Just a thought.
I mean, they all could be one single show, one single episode of a show could be all those at once.
That's true. That's true.
I'm just saying.
Not the episode we're recording. It's just one of those things, but
It could be all those.
I don't know. We'll let the viewers decide. The
We'll
listeners.
let them decide. That's fair. That's fair.
Yes.
Anything exciting you have been watching lately besides what we're recording tonight?
Besides what we're recording tonight, YouTube videos, I guess, is the real thing that sucks me in. We've been watching The Floor, which we do have on our Hopecast network. We do have a show that recaps The Floor.
Reality
that's-
Redux.
Yeah, with Angie. So that's, kind of keep up on that so I can watch and listen to them. So,
Follow along. Yeah.
yeah. What about you?
I have been watching Yellow Jackets season 3. This Friday is the finale.
I'm
Or
beginning to think
whenever
that's
this comes out. It may be long over, but yes,
I'm beginning to think that's all you listen or you watch, other than the shows for this podcast.
it is.
And Yellow
'cause
Jackets.
It's good.
You should branch out. By our next recording, branch out.
There will be something by the next recording, something different. Yes.
Yay!
But tonight, what we've been watching is The Simpsons,
The Simpsons.
a very well-known cartoon show that is,
Yes.
I believe, still making new episodes to this day, which is insanity because it originally came out like 1987.
We were not in third grade. I remember that.
And
But
it's
I was very excited
it's
to be
pumping
the
out.
same age as Bart Simpson.
Grew up with a lot of Bart Simpson paraphernalia. I had his tape because we didn't have CDs then. It was this tape
Oh.
where he sang classic rock songs, but it was Bart Simpson singing them, which was all the fad back then.
So that's your classic The Simpsons memory, your core Simpsons memory.
Yeah. And this, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say The Simpsons really means a lot to my family. At church, one Mother's Day, they were making little plaques for their parents, or for mothers, obviously, on Mother's Day. And people were picking like their favorite scripture. My brother, however, picked a Simpsons quote for my mother's plaque. It was when Homer or Bart says, let him who's without sin cast the first stone. And then you see one of the Flanders boys throw a rock and says, got him, Dad. So that was the plaque in lieu of scripture that my brother put on a
All
plaque
right.
for my mom for Mother's Day. So
Well,
lovely
unfortunately,
story.
We are not watching that episode.
No.
We are
No.
watching King Size Homer, which came
King
from
Size
season
Homer.
7, episode 7.
Lucky
and a
7.
quick synopsis of this 20-minute episode. Homer, Mr. Burns, started an exercise program at work. Homer is not excited about it, where we find him hidden in the toilet stall, standing inside the toilet, not on the toilet, inside the toilet, trying to hide from the exercise. They find him. So he wants to find a loophole through disability and learns that if he is over 300 pounds, that he will be considered disabled and be able to work from home, and hilarity ensues from there as we get into this particular plus size Homer episode.
King size Homer. This is a great episode. Like, it's right up there with Monorail, Streetcar Named Desire. Like, it's a great episode.
It is a great episode. You first start off though is, why would you? I understand hiding in the bathroom, maybe even standing on the toilet, but why are you standing in the toilet?
He probably would have broke the toilet seat, is my guess.
Are you calling him fat?
Well, I'm calling him king size.
He wasn't king size then yet.
It's not skinny mini Homer. Yeah, interesting choice, but seems on par for Homer. But I mean, the exercises Mr. Burns was leading them in, like, were they worth hiding over? I mean, he's old. He's an old man.
He is.
And
I mean,
if
it was
he can
a
do those.
different style of exercise for sure.
Was Smithers doing these exercises?
Well, of course was, because Smithers was smitten with Mr. Burns.
Well, yeah, but I thought like he was just off to the side, like to support Mr. Burns if there was a fall. But
That could be.
Wayland Smithers.
So Homer goes back to his desk because he is the nuclear safety supervisor, inspector. So
he is not a supervisor.
Inspector. He keeps everybody safe. That's still a pretty important position for a nuclear power plant. I mean,
you would assume by the title.
So. You'd assume so. And he immediately goes back to his desk, and apparently there is a disabled handbook just sitting right there at the job that he starts thumbing through to see if he can find any of these disabilities he qualifies for. He lists off some pretty funny ones that he does not qualify for, and then finds the 300-pound rule and gets super excited.
What I love is I can't remember if it was Lenny or Carl. Maybe it was Homer that said it. But they said disability. It's like a lottery to reward stupidity, which yes. Obviously there's lots of people on disability that are not stupid, but I just thought it was a funny line for the premise that we were seeking today.
I mean, they do pursue that alley, right? Because they make it pretty silly as Homer is like, I can do this. I need to, basically, it's got to be how this plays out. It's Friday, and he's got to gain 61 pounds before Monday so he doesn't have to go to work. It's kind of how they play this.
If you looked at Homer, would you think 231 pounds? Like, he's made to look pretty big. And 231, I'm like, I might be close to 231. I felt a little like, oh no, I'm Homer sized.
Which is great because he goes home excited about this plan and tells Bart, who normally is not on Homer's side whatsoever. But even Bart is excited. He says, this is one adventure, Dad, I want to be on with you, is to make him fat.
Now why did Bart want Homer to be so fat?
I don't know. But he was energetic. He was stoked. He's like, we're going to do this. We're going to plump you up. And they then proceed to go where anybody would go to. Lisa obviously was objecting. She's worried about health concerns.
Yes.
Like, this is stupid. She's even like, have you told your mother? And he's like, no.
Your mother? Oh, their mother.
Told mom. And
Marge.
They're like, no.
Which makes me think, how much does Marge weigh in comparison? Is she like 98 pounds?
She's like a beanpole.
I mean, it's all in the hair, I guess.
It's true. So they go to one place you would go to be like, I need to gain tons of weight, to the doctor.
Yes.
And
make sure it's healthy.
Is like, yeah, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. We are not going to do this. I'm not going to participate in this. I don't want nothing to do with this. And he's like, well, do you have one to recommend that would do? And he's like, yes.
Do you have a recommendation for another doctor? And immediately he's like, yes, I do. And who comes in but Dr. Nick?
Mr. Dr. Nick.
I love Dr. Nick.
It's Oh, excuse me.
Dr. Nick is hilarious.
He is funny, but it's so true. Like if you really think about it, even in today's life, how quick we always want. If we don't get the answer we seek, we're like, "Give me another opinion. I will find someone who gives me
Find
what I
someone who
want."
agrees with me. Yeah,
Right.
it's very interesting.
Would you go to this like what length? What length, Laura? We need to know this. What length would you go to work from home disability?
Oh, see, I'm a bad person to ask that. I've been very lucky to have many jobs where I've been able to work from home. I worked from home, I don't know, probably for about 4 years. And it was, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty great. It was pretty great. So I would go to any length. I convinced my work to let me work from home. I'm like, hey, we don't have enough offices or desks. We're in a small building. And yeah, there's like 4 or 5 locations I could go to that would have a desk for me. But how about I just stay home? And they bought it and they went with it. And it was fantastic.
I got excited at this episode when Homer was like 300 pounds. I'm like, I'm there. Disability, here I come. In the Simpsons world.
Right?
I'm like, the plan is in place. I can work from home. I can do
What
this.
else would you go to work from home?
In this scenario, I'm there.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's real.
Yes, I'm sure there's not. I'm sure like you can't reach 300 pounds and be like, I can work from home. It really depends on your job.
That's true. I have never, ever had a work at home job. I know many times people say that's a very difficult. Some people can do it. Some people can't because you have to be pretty self-disciplined to work at home and not get distracted by doing other things than working.
I have many selfies of me and we used to have a cat named Nala. She's no longer with us, but of Nala just sitting on my lap with her hand on my computer, just helping me work. It's so cute. It was the best.
I mean, you do have those, tons of those.
Yes. Someone once said, "Oh, it's awesome. Laura works at a place where there's cats," and they're like, "That's her house. She's on her couch." It was grand.
So they visit Dr. Nick, and Dr.
Yes.
Nick gives them some advice on how you can gain weight quickly. But Homer and so he shows them the non-healthy food pyramid, which is lots of fat, bacon, meat,
Whipped
banana
beans.
splits, whipped creams, just a treasure trove of unhealthy foods. And Homer says, how do we speed this up and make it quicker? And Dr. Nick says, get creative, blend them together. And even Bart starts getting into it by coming up with ideas on how to make unhealthy sandwiches using Pop-Tarts and other things to add to the calories. And I love this line. And he wants to know, how do we know if you want to make sure that it is completely unhealthy? You rub it on a piece of paper, and when it comes transparent, you know you're good to go.
It's the window to weight gain success, is what he called it.
The window to weight gain success. So if you're looking to gain weight, if you rub your food on a piece of paper and it becomes transparent, you're on your way to success.
I don't know if that's true. Boy, it has a great payoff later in the episode when they are at Krusty Burger and Bart offers Homer a fish sandwich.
And Homer's like, no, that's healthy.
Yep.
And they rub it on the wall, and now they can see outside.
And then a bird thinking it's an open window, comes barreling through and crashes and falls, and it's great.
That is so much food he is pounding down. Like, so much food. Like, he would put eating contests to shame, the amount of food he was packing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
he
ate
really
Krusty
didn't want to go
Burger
back to work.
out of burgers.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of wrappers.
It was a lot. And then he's eating a banana split, and Bart says, "No, Dad, eat around the banana. It's just empty.
Empty calories.
Nutrition."
Don't eat the healthy banana. Skip that and let's go to the.
And Homer winks at him and gives him a thumbs up. It's so funny.
And then there is a point where he eats all of the food, and I loved this. He ate all the food. He still had to pack on some pounds. Well, this happened twice. The first time he did it, Bart's like, "Dad, your belly's on the towel rack," and they have to pull the belly off the towel rack, and he goes up to 295. So he's almost there. Mm-hmm. They almost do some more eating. Comes back to the scale, and he's like, "We're all out of food, Dad," and he still wasn't quite there yet. And
he was 1 pound away.
He looked down at Maggie, who's playing with some Play-Doh. Bart picks it up and goes, "Oh," or no, she makes like a donut-looking thing and hands it to him. And Bart's like, "Dad, it's non-toxic," and he's already eating. He's like, "Good to know." So he really didn't care if it was toxic or non-toxic. Boy, he's like, "Hey, we're good."
And the scale tips to 300, and he says, "Woohoo!" And then Bart says, "Homer, you're on the towel rack." And it goes down and goes up like 15 or 16 pounds. And goes, oh my.
Oh my. So he could have.
So funny.
He could have foregone eating the Play-Doh because he was already well at his weight.
I mean, it just further establishes the lore that Maggie is the favorite child of Homer, that she would care so much to make him a donut. Yes. She'd be so invested in this weight gain. So
she was on board. Marge was not. Marge was not, but she was not really stepping in to stop the idea at this point because she was going to fade out like many of other Homer's ideas.
Yeah, he hopped into bed and literally she rolled on top of him because the bed sank so low. And she's like, "Homer," in her little voice, "Do you think what you're doing is healthy?" No, it's not, Marge.
And then he was concerned about if she would still love him. And of course, she is like, I would still love you. And then they go about their deal. So Homer gets
his... You were 1,000 pounds, which is a ton.
That is a lot of weight. So Homer gets his wish. He gets to now work from home. He's considered disabled. But he's got to get some clothes that fit. So he goes to a plus-size store for big men, which offer muumuus, graduation gowns, ponchos, anything big. And how did Homer say this? "I don't want to look like a weirdo. I will take the muumuu."
Just go with the muumuu, which was the least flattering option. Like they had like togas and like not manly apparel, but yeah, he picked the light blue flowery muumuu.
I am not.
Be a great Halloween costume. Like that muumuu with a white hat, like he had the little white hat. That'd be a terrific. A dialing wand. Oh, and they also had capes.
Yes.
That'd be a great Halloween outfit.
I
out there.
am a bigger man. You would never catch me in a muumuu.
Not even dressing as Homer for Halloween.
You're telling me, no, not even Halloween. You're telling me you would walk around in public. I'm saying non-Halloween. You'd walk around in public with me and go places with me wearing a muumuu.
Absolutely not, but I'm talking specifically for Halloween.
No. If you're going to go in, not just Halloween, you have to commit to year-round that you would just support me and go around. We're going to church. We're going to the supermarket. We're going to the Mall of
Absolutely
America.
Not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But if you were cosplaying as Homer, that would be completely different. I also have to say, because my brother is like a huge Simpsons fan, his wife does not watch The Simpsons, but he said if there was any episode that if she ever said, "I'll watch one episode," this is the episode that he would make her watch, which I think is a strange choice. I don't even think it's his favorite, but this is the episode.
Okay.
That should watch. So,
well,
spoilers. I hope she's not listening.
That's true, because then she won't need to watch it anymore.
No, she'll be like, "I might need a divorce." Yes, we always called it his man moo instead of a moo.
Yeah. So here he is now working from home, and you would think as a nuclear safety inspector, there'd be some massive intelligence there. And it's funny because his setup at work is gigantic with all these buttons, all these things he's watching. But at home, it's one little computer, and he simply has to select yes or no. But the funniest part, he's like, it says hit any key to continue. He's like, there is no any key. I don't see any key. Where's the any key? And he's naming all these keys, but can't find the any key. And he's about to give up until he bumps something, and then the computer turns on. And he's like, oh, but back to work. And so he goes to work, and it asks if he wants to vent the nuclear gas. He's like, no. And it says if you do not vent, there could be cause for an explosion. So he's like, fine, yes. And he vents the gas, and then he gets super excited because Marge, at this point, Lisa comes out and was like, Dad, Marge wants to talk to Homer. And so she sends Lisa to go get him. And instead of Lisa just saying, hey, Mom wants to talk to you, she's like, Mom made a cake. And Homer gets super excited and goes running to the kitchen to where Marge is ready to greet him and says that she's getting to a point where she's no longer attracted to him. And he's like, oh, so it's all about the weight. It's all about looks.
Yeah. We skipped over one of my favorite parts is because like when he's looking for the any key, he sees tab and he goes, oh, I'll order a tab. And he pushes that, and then he's like, oh, no time for drinks. It worked.
Right. Yeah. He puts his cup up to the disc reader and looking for the tab, but the computer turns on and he's like, no time for drinks. Got to go back to work.
So it makes me think, like, because this is pretty early on in The Simpsons, so they didn't have a computer at home?
No.
Like, obviously, but, like, I remember maybe there one being in Lisa or Bart's bedroom, but yeah, I think it's interesting that it's, like, a foreign concept to Homer. Like, when it aired, yeah, probably, I don't know when it aired, but there might not be as many computers at home. Like, now it's like, who wouldn't know that?
Right. Yeah. And I love the scene too because Homer, in having this talk with Marge, is only concerned about the cake that doesn't exist.
Yes. Where's the cake?
There's no cake.
Homer, there is no cake.
And he's very sad.
Very sad.
He also, because Marge was kind of making fun of him for his new choices, feels like he's going to really show her up because he learned that you actually do not have to type YES every time you hit yes. You can just hit Y and it will work. So he just drops that knowledge on Marge. He's like, huh, look at me now, Marge. You only have to hit Y. Like she's supposed to be impressed that he figured this out.
Yes, Marge is so frustrated that she's leaving the house because there's things that she does throughout the day, which is interesting because she doesn't bring Maggie. So it's like, well, where's Maggie? Is Homer stuck watching her? Did she go with Marge? It's not a lot of Maggie this episode.
So he now figures this out and he gets a little bored. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go watch a movie. And so he finds this tipping bird that goes up and down and he puts it over the yes button. So it's just slowly pushing the yes. And it's funny because then he goes to the movie theater because he wants to see a particular show.
We'll call it Honk.
Yeah. It's a show, but the movie theater will not let him in because they do not have seats that accommodate his plus size body. He's thoroughly upset by this. They offer him a jumbo popcorn, a garbage bag, a popcorn for the inconvenience, which he does not take. It storms out protest by throwing his cape over his moo and walking out.
The whole town congregates to this movie theater to mock him, and he just wants to watch Honk in peace. And now I have to say, I agree with the movie theater that like if you are over a certain size, like movie theater seats are the most uncomfortable thing in the world. And so we travel great lengths to to sit in nice, comfortable seats
We do.
where you don't feel like you're squeezed in or you're fighting someone for the armrest. So
Yes.
it makes me wonder, Jacob, have you ever eaten popcorn from a trash bag?
No, I have not.
I have.
Knew you probably have.
When I went to go see the Barbie movie, I got a collectible like popcorn tin because I'm like, oh, this will be cute. But they know that people like collect those, so he hands me a garbage bag full of popcorn and the thing, and I'm like, what am I to do? So I'm like pouring it in the tin, but I still have a half garbage bag full of popcorn, and I just felt like an idiot. So I had that. I had cotton candy. I just felt like a big old lardo eating my
Your bag
garbage
of popcorn.
full of popcorn. I would have settled. I would have taken it.
So when Homer leaves, he says to I think it was Lisa, she's like, "Aren't you supposed to be working, Dad?" And he's like, "Don't worry, I got someone to cover," which was the bird pushing the yes button.
The little drinking bird.
Yeah, and he comes back, and the little bird had fell over. So no yes buttons have been being pushed. The power plant, the nuclear power plant, is in dire straits and about to explode. And it will not let him vent the gas anymore because there's too much pressure. And he's got to try to call the plant to save the day. And he can't do it because his fingers are too fat and he keeps smashing on the buttons. And the operator gets on and says, "Your call not going to be completed because of your fingers. If you would like a button pusher, please smash all the buttons with the palm of your hand."
Your fingers are too fat to dial. If you'd like a dialing wand, please smash your palm against
The keys.
Oh no! Which is one of my favorite lines too. I just love that. In the meantime, like he's totally neglecting his job anyway, and he's like on the couch watching TV, and Bart and his friends are like all peeking through the window and making fun of him, and he's too big to get up and chase him, so he has this stick he's pounding at the window
Hitting
to.
stick.
Oh, it's so funny.
So this speeds us forward. He goes barreling after the power plant to save the day. He hijacks an ice cream truck as they're on the school bus, and Lisa's trying to tell Martin that her dad is not some crazed food.
Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph.
Which
Yeah,
makes it funnier because Ralph is an idiot.
not some crazed lunatic just out there to buy food. And then here comes Homer speeding by in an ice cream truck while eating ice cream. And Lisa's just disappointed. But Homer gets there. He cannot get to the off switch. But right when it explodes, Homer falls in and plugs the nuclear waste hole with his big old rear and saves the day.
So I think this episode I think is a really good take on like our differences on what we think is funny, because to me the funniest part with that ice cream truck is he has to drive through Burns's like exercise class, and so there's people diving on the ice cream truck because they want stuff, and it falls over on its side while Homer is trying to save it, and the guy's like, "Oh, I can't decide without the pictures," because he wants an ice cream treat. And it made me think how many times like, yeah, we really don't know what we want from an ice cream truck. But Jacob, what was your favorite thing as a kid to get on the ice cream truck?
Choco Taco.
A Choco Taco?
Yeah.
I was in Utah, so the candy cigarettes were always a big hit until they told us it was illegal to sell them, which I don't think was true.
Yeah, it's probably not true.
But yeah, then we had to go with the ice creams with the bubblegum eyes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
The good stuff.
Yes.
Except for that gum lasted like 12 seconds.
Oh, it was disgusting. You always regretted it, but it looked so good on the picture, and then you got it and you're like, what is this half melted scary thing?
Right. So he saves the day, which you should be dead because you just took a nuclear blast right up the keister, basically.
Yeah.
and you're sitting there and they're scrubbing him clean. And he asks, Mr. Burns offers you can have anything you want. Homer's like, can you make me skinny again? So the episode ends with Homer exercising but can't do a push up or a sit up. And Mr. Burns gets up and he's like, I'll just pay for your liposuction. And then Homer's like, woohoo!
And I love it because, like he's getting an award for like preventing this nuclear thing, which I mean, he does every day, right?
Yes. Yeah.
He gets an award for it. And Bart says, usually Homer's butt is letting out poisonous in his mouth. And then Marge is like, Bart.
He does. Usually you're letting gas out, not keeping it in.
Usually, Dad. Yeah, she doesn't let him finish. Oh, it's so funny. Great episode.
It is a great episode.
Great episode.
The pivotal question we got to ask, because this is what's the most important part, is theme song. Where would you rate this theme song, Laura?
So, longtime listeners know that I love a theme song that tells a story, lets us know what we're watching, what we're in for. And the theme song for The Simpsons is just The Simpsons, which does tell us. So I gave it an 8.5.
This one's a 10.
It's a great one. You love unhummable, just hummable. Like, no. I like
It's so
stories. This one's an 8.5. It's a great one. I can play it out in my head. I've seen it so much.
Yes.
It's definitely one where if they skip the theme song and just go to the short one, you're kind of sad. I like that they've changed it where not just Bart's chalkboard, but like they've added all the characters, side characters that you love. Hans Moleman, those kinds of. Who's your favorite little known or lesser popular Simpsons character?
The comic book guy.
Comic book guy?
Yeah.
Fred Grimes is a good one. Grimy. Hans Moleman. There's so many.
There is a lot.
Bumblebee guy.
And I would ask, would this show be remade today? But it is currently still being made today. So
should it still be made today is the better
incredible.
question.
It's incredible.
So good on them.
I mean, there you have it, folks. The Simpsons, the plus king size Homer.
Homer.
Fantastic watch. It's been a long time since I've watched it. It was a great show. A lot of fun to sit together and watch this. We appreciate all of you hanging out with us as we review The Simpsons. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And please take the opportunity to take the time to check out other shows on our Hopecast network, as there's a plethora of other things to watch and enjoy on the network. We are grateful for all of you and have an awesome day.
Goodbye.
Boom.
Boom.